we hear a new disease, just like the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that it's a sign of the Day of Judgment. Sign of the Day of Judgment. The first thing people, when they heard about cancer, they say, oh my God, what is that? Now cancer became something like a catching cold. Then after that came AIDS. People start saying, oh my God, what is that? It is so dangerous. And then you have now all these new diseases that you've seen. Swine flu and all these flus that's coming makes Allah Ta'ala what's going to happen to us. So no one is really safe. Therefore, every time, wallahi, I believe that every single day, when your beloved person leaves the house, you should not leave them go out without a message of love and wish them the best that they come back to you. Whether they're a husband, whether they're a child, a parent, a wife, anyone, wish them the best and show them love that when they come back, when they come, or at least when they're out, they know that they have someone who's waiting for them. Because we all there that moment that we receive that phone call, says, you know what, something happened on the road to your beloved one. Please, let's make together a commitment that we love one another. You have a relative with whom you have some issues, some tensions, and we're all human beings. And the most popular problems that I hear about because of my field, unfortunately, dealing with marriage, dealing with being an imam and so on, most of it is marriage counseling. And many of the cases of marriage counseling involves mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, son-in-law scenarios. Why is that? Do we really inherit that in our gene that we have to fight with our mother-in-laws and father-in-laws and children-in-law and all these things? No. It's just that kind of stereotype that we're building in our relationship. You have brothers and sisters arguing over wealth. They're arguing over a piece of land. They're arguing over a piece of Israel and so on, and they hate each other for that. Why is that? We see among Muslims in one community some issues related to race, color, background, this and that and so on. We are human beings. We have these issues. Why couldn't we just eliminate all these differences and live the way the Prophet ﷺ commanded us to do, that we love one another? Why shouldn't we do that? Rasulullah ﷺ said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. No one will become a true believer. No one shall become a true believer until they love for their brothers and sisters that which they love for themselves. Now what do you love for yourself? Success, don't you? Why don't you wish that for your brother and sister? And remember, here's the Prophet ﷺ saying about your brother and sister in faith. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. The believers are indeed brothers and sisters. They have a bond of brotherhood among them. So we're talking about these bonds right now. You're not related by blood, but you're related by faith. And it's a very higher bond, more than that physical blood relationship. Yet, if a Prophet ﷺ is commanding us to love for our brothers and sisters who are not related to us by blood, he commanded us to love for them and wish for them what we wish for ourselves. What about those who are very close to you? Those who have rights on you, such as your real biological brothers and sisters. And then what about your ancestors, parents, grandparents, your children, grandchildren? Why do we have to create all these tensions and disharmony in our communities and our family relations? What's the reason behind? Wallahi, it's not worth it. Life is shorter than this. And people, they wake up when it's too late. Once they receive the news, they start wishing that I wish I had done so and so. I remember a story from my father, who remembers the story from some members of the family, of our ancestors. They were kind of distant uncles to my father. And that's a real story, it's not even a fairy tale. He said it was between brothers, two brothers. They had some issue, just like any other brothers, they would have issues over a piece of land, probably a piece of house or something like that. Eventually, they had some issue among themselves, that they vowed not to talk to each other. And they remained that way. And the story is very famous actually in our village. That they remained that way, they did not speak to each other for many, many years. They go to occasions. They go to weddings. They go to funerals. They go to so many other places. And they sit there, but they act like strangers. They deal with other people from within the family, but they don't deal with each other directly. Subhanallah. Until one of the brothers, he heard the news that his brother passed away. One of them died. Unexpectedly, of course. That brother, he did not send a message to his brother saying, listen, I'm dying tomorrow, so you better finish this over right now. He didn't say that. He didn't have the time for this. So he just passed away. They sent the news to his brother anyway. Your brother just passed away. Not like any other human being. You feel now sorry. You regret. Now you realize, wallah, it wasn't worth it. So he goes to the house of his brother. And he sees the people, men and women are gathered around. Those who are crying, those who are weeping, those who are just standing there and so on. Very sad scene. The story continues. My father says that the man came in. He sees his brother lying down there on his bed. He goes down. He just looks at his face, somehow holding all this pain in his heart probably, that he couldn't say I'm sorry before he died. He bows down to kiss him, and he doesn't come out. He dies on top of him. They took them both out to the cemetery to be buried together. And that's a real story, it's not even a fairy tale. Wallahi, it would happen. That's when people realize how short life is, that wallahi, it's not even worth it. So why should we wait for a moment like this to wake up and we say, you know what, it's not worth it. If you have the time, and you do have the time, as long as you're still alive, you have the time to reconcile with your beloved ones, with your friends, with your relatives, with your spouse, with your children. You have the time as long as you're still alive. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِذَا حَبَّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَخَاهُ فَلْيُعْلِمْهُ أَنَّهُ يُحِبُّهُ. In this hadith, hadith al-Muqdam, Ibn Ma'di Karib radiallahu ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, إِذَا حَبَّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَخَاهُ. If someone loves his brother for the sake of Allah, if you love someone who's stranger to you, if you love them for the sake of Allah, قَالَ فَلْيُعْلِمْ. Let him know about it. Go and tell him. So if you know someone in the masjid, you love them for the sake of Allah. What does that mean? It means you love them for their character, for their akhlaq, for the love of for the deen. You don't love them because they're rich, they're wealthy, they look nice, they look cool. It's not the point. It's for their deen that they love him or you love her. So you go to that individual and you say, إِنِّي يُحِبُّكَ فِي اللَّهِ. I love you for the sake of Allah. Of course, men for women, women for women. I mean, men for men and women for women. You don't go to the opposite gender and you say, I love you for the sake of Allah. So for the brothers, I'm making it clear here. You go to a brother and you tell him, I love you for the sake of Allah. A sister would go to another sister and say, I love you for the sake of Allah. Eventually the Prophet ﷺ says, you should tell them that you love them. Why? So that would increase that relationship and that love with each other. If you know that this individual loves you in the masjid, you would love their company. You would love to help them. You would love to see them happy. If you see something that's beneficial to you, you would tell them about it. So you would help one another, inshallah, increase in this deen. And bi'idhnillah, help one another in this dunya as well. And if this was between strangers, meaning people who are not related by blood, what about those who have blood relations and haqq, huquq, rights and obligations among themselves? You will definitely become more obligated to maintain these relationships and show that love to your parents, to your children, to your brothers, and to your sisters. Rasulullah didn't just say that. He even did that himself, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In hadith Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who said, one time Rasulullah